Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrible General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Hello and welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm your host, Keith Weissite. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. You know, every now and then you get to look back and see something that makes you happy and excited about the future. Our guest is going to do that for me. Coach Phil Bychurch, thank you for being here. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, Phil, you and I go back a long, long way. But let's let the people get to know who you are a little bit. Grew up down in South Lafourche, but let's talk about your educational history, and then we'll talk a little bit about sports.
Oh, well, started out down South Lafourche area, graduate from South Lafourche High School. Started teaching in 99, had to go to Meta Middle School, stayed there for a few years, 5-6 years, then was asked to move on to South Lafourche and coach there. So coached there for 5 or 6 years and then moved on to Hahnville High School. Coached there about 8 years. Decided I had some young children, so I wanted to spend more time with them. Got out of the coaching rankings for a while and just spend more time with them. Mm-hmm. Still teaching at Hahnville. And this opportunity came up and I would like to put my foot back in the door at South Lafourche High School where I grew up, graduate, taught there, and hopefully continue coaching there till it was time for me to retire.
Well, you've got an interesting history there with whom you're is a predecessor and now you're following. So Pete Melanson was there for a while.
Yes.
And y'all actually coached together.
Yes, we did. In fact, when I was on staff, his daughter was playing, and I decided and asked him see if he wanted to come help with the pitching aspect, and he just took it on and ran with it, and it was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And then when it was time for him to get out, we talked a few times, and he told me, he said, man, you might want to put your name in, you know, just everybody knows you there. So I said, okay, so and that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so this will be a unique situation as you're still going to be teaching where you're teaching.
Correct.
At Hahnville.
Correct.
And coaching back home,
yes,
if you will, from where you grew up, where you went to school, and where you've coached before.
Correct.
But one thing that people don't really know is that men of a certain size are sometimes judged a certain way. And I'd like to think that you and I both kind of broke that mold over the years.
Yeah, just a lot of hard work. You know, people think you just get looked at size, and it's really not. Mm-hmm. You know, if you work hard, just like I'm letting the girls know, if you work hard, things are going to work out for you. Sometimes it's not always the best. You got to work a little extra, but it works out.
Right. And the good news is you'll be able to find that balance between the two. And that's one of those things people talk about all the time, that work-life balance, and being able to be where you live, being able to go to school and teach, and then to come back home and be able to do that with softball. Softball is so comfortable because it's second nature to you.
Yes.
I mean, you and Lucas kind of set the stage. You know, there's only one other family down from that area athletically that come close to what you guys have done. But I mean, and you guys just helped make a difference. And it's really interesting. Lucas was the one who always hit the ball really far, but you were the one that always taught it's about working hard in defense.
Yes, defense, and I still bring that to the table. I try to let my girls know that defense is what's going to win championships. Mm-hmm. That's what our goal is. And we're gonna move forward with that. And it just takes, like I said, it just takes a lot of hard work and a lot of repetitiveness, and just to get our job done.
Yeah, and I know over the years it's interesting you mentioned that about defense winning championships, and that's one of those things where I think people get caught up in the glory of what offense can be. But especially in these kinds of team sports, if you can find a way to bring that team together, that defensive effort makes a huge difference. For example, your pitcher having a great pitching game, if she gets backed up by some wonderful or outstanding plays in the field, that is a lift both mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Well, it just gives her the confidence that no matter where she puts the ball, let them put it in play, and we're going to take care of that end of defense. That way, if you don't give up any runs, you only need one to win. And sometimes softball, that's all you need is one to win. So just backing up our pitchers, letting them know that we're there and we're going to support them is the confidence they're going to need to put the ball over the plate.
Yeah, let's talk about how many years you've spent in the coaching ranks. How long have you coached? I know you said you spent a few years not coaching to spend some time with your family. How long did you spend time coaching?
18 years,
Look,
high school sports.
18 years is a lot. You gain a lot of experience in 18 years.
Yes, a lot of knowledge from a lot of different coaches, younger coaches, older coaches, especially older coaches. Just trying to think and keep that all in your brain and write everything down is so important, because every day is something different. It's 18 years that I've coached, and I'm still learning today.
Yeah, and that's the good thing, I guess, is that we've got some of those younger people that can kind of teach us. And if you're wise enough, you pay attention to what they can teach you.
Yes, we always tell our kids to pay attention in the classroom,
right,
and pay attention to us, but we also have to pay attention to them, because they bring new aspects to the table every day.
Yeah, has there been any particular situation where you've learned a great deal from anybody in particular on the field, coaching or pitching, or I know defensively I've seen that glove, but has it been somebody that's in the last few seconds we have here in the segment that's really made a difference for what you've learned from the girls or from the kids?
I guess just the girls themselves. You know, the group of girls we have coming up, I've been working with these girls for the last 6-7 years, especially my daughter, who's going to be a senior this year, and been working with her from minute by minute, hour by hour, just to make sure that they understand what needs to be done.
I think coaches who've been there, coaches who have played various sports, I think they gain a great deal of respect from the girls, and it seems like we're starting off on the right foot here as you return back to South Lafourche to help with the girls softball.
Yes, like I said, I'm excited just to get the group of girls out there and just give the knowledge that I have to them about what it takes to prepare, to be successful, winning or losing, just to be successful. And then when they're done with everything, just to get out in the world and be successful in the world.
Yeah, and really finding a way, and it's really interesting. I find that really strong male role models in some of these female sports really help teach an understanding of an appreciation of the sexes, appreciation of what you can accomplish, and more importantly, really helping to develop these young ladies into young women.
Well, it helps out. I have two daughters of my own.
Right.
So just letting them know what it's all about. Making sure they understand what to do at every situation. Some easy, some hard.
Mm-hmm.
Just for them to understand what it takes for them to be successful, right, either on the field or in the community itself.
Right, and that's one of the things I love about the area where you grew up in South Lafourche, in the Central Lafourche area as well. Community means a great deal down there.
We'll go to home games, away games. Even away games, we're going to have 3 times more fans as we're going to have as the home team that we're visiting. So the girls love that because they have the backing of the community there. No matter where it's at, we travel. Mm-hmm. So they enjoy that. When they come into the dugout and they look out there and say, oh my God, look, so-and-so's here, or just look how much people we have.
Look how much blue and white we got in the stands.
Yes, correct. And that gives them, that's the easy step for me to just get them on the field and do the work when they have the support of the whole community out there in the stands.
What are you really looking forward to? And I asked this question already knowing the answer. You get a chance to coach a really special young lady.
Yes. And she's had it rough. That's my daughter.
Right, yeah,
of course, it's always harder to coach
coach's kids, right?
Yes. She was very excited when I told her the situation.
Okay.
But we also had 10 to 12 others because I've been coaching these girls for the last 6 years. So they were all excited about, oh, Coach Phil's coming back. Coach Phil's going to be with us. We're going to stay, keep it going. And we already had some girls step up and say, oh, well, Coach, look, I want to make sure I take the lead here. This is what we want to do. This is that's your goals. Let's set our goals high. Let's go for it. Make them measurable.
Right.
Make sure we can get there.
Right.
But let's go with it. I'm total support of what they want to do. So
wow,
they're going to help guide me just like I'm going to help guide them.
And I guess if there's ever a good marriage, if you will, of a good sport, you've got the kids that are motivated, the coach that's motivated, you have one big goal, and then both of you are committed to the short-term goals to get there.
Yes, and I think the commitment's there, just communicating with the young ladies. They're ready, you know. In this aspect, it's hard for them because we didn't start the senior year yet.
Right.
But as soon as we get to softball and softball's over, their high school year is over. So it's like we don't want to rush into it, but we're so excited to get started that it's kind of mixed emotions at the time.
Absolutely. Ready to go, but with some trepidation,
Yes.
and hopefully this will be, and you bring up a really good point, about a little bit more normalcy. And we're certainly hoping for that for sports here in this pandemic.
Yes, at the end of last year, we were getting back to the normalcy. We still wore our masks that we needed to do. And at certain points right now, we're still wearing our masks to be you're just on the safe side. But that's all they want to do is get back to normalcy. And the 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, that's what they want. They want normalcy,
Right.
So hopefully I can help with that normalcy and just go out there, relax, have a good time, and do what you know what to do. That's it.
Because they really do know what to do. And you're joining a great program, right?
Yes. They've been successful in the last couple of years, and we just want to keep that success going. Of course, our goal is we talk to the girls, we want to host a home softball playoff game, And we've been to the playoffs the last 2 or 3 years, but they want to host one. They want to have one at home. So that's a real good goal that we can mark down, put on our bulletin board, as we could say, and go for it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where getting to the playoffs is one thing, and a lot of times people have that as their goal, getting to the playoffs. And as we finish here this last minute or so, that's one of those goals, but you guys want to host a game.
Yes, we want to host.
Y'all want to take it one step further.
Yes, we want to
host and win.
Host and win. If we're going to strive for it, we might as well push ourselves hard,
Right.
and we have the group of girls that I think can accomplish this goal. And if they keep their mind to it and stay on the path, I think we'll get there.
And so you've heard it here on Bayou Time Sports. Coach Phil Bychurch has told you they have a couple of goals. They want to have a home playoff game, and they want to win it. You can travel after that. That'd be all right.
That's fine. We'll travel. We'll go. We just want to keep on playing.
You and your brother, I never really heard you say each other's name. You just called each other brother. And that's kind of how it felt playing ball with you. And I know that you bring that same perspective to coaching. It's a family environment.
Very much.
And if you bring that family environment, you kind of get to know people really well. And so I'm excited for you as the new head coach of the South Lafourche softball team. You guys have some girls that are really talented.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have back. We had last year we had very strong junior core.
Right.
There's going to be seniors this year. We're looking anywhere from 10 to 12 seniors.
Wow. That's solid.
Yes, and we had 5 of those that were on all-district team. Madeline Bourgeois, pitcher, infielder.
Okay, so she did both, right? She pitched for you, and when she wasn't pitching,
She was playing
infield.
infield.
Okay.
We also had Madison Ryan, who was a catcher. Then we had Ali Bozier, who's played infield, who's now is going to be kind of transferring to outfield.
Oh, okay.
Because we're going to have some infielders coming in where we can move.
Right.
Because we had outfielders that kind of moved out of the situation because of senior.
Right, they graduated.
Yes, because of graduation. We also have Nay Nelson, who kind of played catcher and some outfield, might be moving her to infield. We have a few other seniors that were coming in, Brooklyn Bychurch, Alyssa Bourne. Hopefully they'll be able to step into those roles of those girls leaving and step it up into the game. Our pitching core is going to be back. We were sophomores last year.
Wow.
So we're going to have Mallory Pierce, Cameron Sheremy, and again, we're going to have Madeline as a senior.
Right.
So I'm very excited. We've played for a while, and we kind of know the core girls. Now it's just to put it out on the field on the high school level.
Well, and it's so very interesting that you mentioned that, Phil, about where they've been. And so you've got some players that are good enough, and there's not a whole lot of those that can play multiple positions.
Well, that's one thing we teach you as they're younger. You know, we're not just going to stick you in one spot and that's all you're going to do.
Right.
We want you to understand that we might need you in the outfield just like we might need you in the infield. Maybe one game here to there, or maybe from inning to inning.
Right.
You know, showing diversity and the difference, not just on the field, also in the dugout. Strong for me also in the community.
Yeah.
You know, you gain a lot of knowledge from the community to bring onto the field. So it's just exciting to have that group of girls and see what we're going to do this year.
Well, and I guess the exciting thing is there's two things that you mentioned. You got a couple of really good catchers. You got 3 returning pitchers. Everything in high school softball starts with pitching and catching.
Yes.
And from there, it's all, like you mentioned before, trusting your pitcher, trusting your defense, but your pitcher's got to trust your catcher, and your catcher's got to trust your pitcher. That's a big deal. That's a starting point, right?
Yes, correct. And then once that pitcher and that catcher gets it going, then everybody just fills in itself in its place. Encouragement.
Sure.
Having that true leader on the field, letting us know every play what's going to go on, what could happen, is where we need to be and where we want to be.
You know, you were talking about the little things and how they really make a difference and being able to do the little things and working hard for the short-term goals. Sometimes the little things, and I know enough about softball now over the years, watching people and learning and watching some of college softball. Sometimes it's pitch by pitch that things are changing.
Yes, every moment is from one pitch to the other. If we're gonna, hate to say it, if we're gonna pitch the ball outside, right side be ready because they might not be pulling the ball.
Right.
So every pitch that everybody needs to be doing in one instance, everybody needs to work together. Move it all at one time. Nobody should be standing still at any point.
Right. And knowing where to go with that ball at any given time is a lot to do with knowing who's where and the communication on the field about talking with whose ball, my ball, your ball, who's covering, you know, and how we rotate, how we cover bases. I mean, we look at those things. I think sometimes people take it for granted. That's a lot of hard work to get there.
It is. And my girls hear it all the time. It's softball IQ. You have to know what to do with the ball when it comes your way. You might have 100 different scenarios that you have with one ball, but we have to know every time what to do with the ball at any given, if it's hit to you, thrown to you, or any other situation.
Right. You just got to know. You got to know where to, and you've got to be where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
And so that's kind of where that gift of presence comes in. The best thing you can do for your pitcher is be present where you're supposed to be defensively. And the best thing you can do hitting is to be present in that situation, because situational hitting can be just as important as situational defense.
Yes, also contagious too. One starts hitting, we all start hitting.
Right.
That's the way it rolls. And our top of the lineup gets it started, our bottom of the lineup continues it. So it's just like you said for pitching, if our pitcher throws strikes and we play defense, it gains confidence for the pitcher. She'll throw more strikes, and it will just be a whole lot easier for the pitcher.
Yeah. Well, and it's exciting to hear. You talked about leadership as we got the last 15 seconds or so. You talked about leadership. There's a couple of girls who have really stepped up and communicated with you about what they want to do.
Yeah, you know, and that's what I'm looking for. And it helps when you have a big senior core.
Right.
Because they've been there. Most of these girls have been playing since they're freshmen.
Right.
So they understand and know what's going on. So having a big senior core is going to help.
Well, Coach, we wish you the absolute best. We'll be following you this year. Congratulations for the role, and good luck with your daughter.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, you got it. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Bayou Times Sports. Don't go anywhere. Local programming up next.